Okay, well, it's obviously very accomplished and very sort of thought through. Sorry, my throat is not quite right, but I'll manage to talk. It'll be okay. So I'll necessarily ask some questions because, again, I don't know a lot of things about the way Suzuki people are trained. So my first question is: is there any technical exercise, sort of apart from playing pieces, scales or things like that?
Well, I think Lili should answer actually.
At
this level, we do some scales.
You do?
With the one hand.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I see. So how long have you been playing?
I've been playing for 20 years.
Okay. Right.
No. Like for this training, we
Yeah.
go like this. But
Okay.
normally we use.
So I see. So right. So you came to Suzuki later.
No, come on, explain. You were.
So I was a Suzuki child.
Ah, right.
And
Okay.
now that I am doing this training, when we arrive at this level,
Yeah.
we teach to do scales. We start to teach scales before playing the repertoire.
Yes. Okay.
But I'm at the conservatory, so I do scales before.
Yeah.
I do normal scales like for.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I understand now what you're saying.
So I think, initially about the technique, we would start with what we call the twinkle variations. So it's
Yes, I know that,
technical
yeah,
exercises. So that's really where our technique comes. And then we really, rather than setting studies in the early stages, we create little studies, little exercises out of the pieces. If there's a little problem, technical problem, we work out a little study. And then as children get more advanced, yes, certainly when they into say book 2, these are book 3 pieces, we start teaching scales, hands separately.
Okay.
And
I mean, not that I'm a massive, I do teach scales as well, but I don't go very deep into exercises unless people really have a view of a future career in music, in which case they need an extremely solid technical grounded. But yeah, no, I just want, I'd like to talk about something about your scale passage work in the other piece, but I mean, there is a lot that we can say that is extremely positive about what you've done. Okay, for me, and that's sort of difficult to put your finger on it exactly how it happened. The wild rider is not terribly wild. I mean, it's, maybe it shouldn't have to be a super wild rider. It depends what you want to do with it, really. I would have said generally, perhaps, that your sound contrast between your forte and cello is perhaps on the small side, perhaps because you don't use a lot of your body yet. I don't know. In some ways, I would have liked to see you in a piece more romantic, to see how you tackle something with more. But anyway, how can I say? It doesn't have a lot of nervous energy about it. On a purely sort of practical level, in your chords, especially the one that repeat, I suppose you have to make sure that all the notes repeat, including the lower one. Because sometimes you don't have them. But I suppose it's also a matter of tempo. You can give to this piece a little bit more of an edge, I suppose, something a bit more, I don't know. But it also depends how you want to hear the piece yourself in some ways. But can you just play the beginning again? I'd like to hear it again. Yeah, you see your chords? Yeah. Can you play me just once your left hand? You see? I hear that. Yeah, the second left fifth finger. Yeah. if you really want that second note on the left, you'll have to really make an effort. Yeah, that's what. It's just something to think about again. Okay, play it once more the way you want to play it. Really, yeah. Okay, it's an interesting thing is that, and perhaps you are right, I don't know, but you do the sforzando almost entirely with the right hand. You do. But you, if you add the left to that, you give it a, yeah. I mean,
We're smiling.
I'd be interested to have your
I do
opinion.
teach just the right hand, and the left hand hardly bigger at all. But you're making it work with making the whole accompaniment stronger and more in the left hand on the sforzando.
No, but I mean, okay. Yeah. I suppose in a case like. It's true that my instinct would have been to make the left hand participate as well.
Go on.
But in which case it's interesting to know how to do both, really. Well, shall we just try? It makes no harm, does no harm to try. Bring the left hand a bit more, and let's see. Yeah, okay, so basically in my world, it's true that I'll have the left hand and the right hand in the second half participating more. Yours is very much a background, that's true. And I think you can make it add a sort of element to the party. It has a sort of rhythmic energy that to me adds something.
You're playing the accompaniment so characterfully.
So
it works. But if one just plays notes as if it's just a chord, then it doesn't work when it's louder.
No, I'm sure that's true. Yes. And again, you can try. Is that something I not very long ago I came to play. I was playing all the Chopin ballad, and I went to play them for John Rink, who is a Chopin specialist in Cambridge.
Yeah.
And he really, really emphasized for me the importance of the left hand in Chopin generally. And it was really good, actually. I mean, it's something that brought something to my thinking that hadn't really pay attention to what the left hand is doing, because it's a foundation. I learned a lot from that session, so perhaps you are getting the leftover of that. And it's true that we tend to be a little bit passive with our accompaniments a lot of the time. They are just like accompaniments, and we don't give them sometimes the life that they deserve. And in a Clementi sonata, it's not going to be the same than in a Chopin ballad, where it can be. But yeah, giving sound and space to the bass, because that's your grounding, basically. Why don't you sort of have these ideas at the back of your mind and play me the whole piece one more? And the other thing I would say is, you phrase very well the right hand. It has a shape, it has a structure. And again, and perhaps it's a theme, sometimes I find your staccato become a little bit passive. Like, I'm not doing it well. I would keep the intensity on each note. Again, that's... following the phrase right through. It's like you kind of give up after you reach your point. You know. rest of the yeah, you are playing, but it's not, you are not going with them. Basically, when you play quieter, you have to make sure that you are still there. That is not just your finger. That is not just that. You see that each note is really made and cared for. Do you want to try that part? Yes. Yes. Okay. That satisfies me. Do you see what I mean then? Obviously, yes, although you wouldn't be able to do it. And I think we've squeezed that piece dry pretty much at that point. I'd like to move on a little bit, and then we can have a... I mean, that was very good, because obviously it's extremely thorough in details and everything. So I don't have that many points, but I have a few things. And perhaps you or Jenny will disagree with me. I felt it was a little bit exaggerated, that it came across as that, like an accent and a drop. Where I suppose it's the same thing. It's like you give accents, and then it's like you give up it on the note that after. You know, you see, you do that a bit, and I suppose it's always the same thing. Really, if I formulate it, is when you play quietly, you have to be even more careful about caring for what you're doing. If you just let your hands sort of do it without your mind really be there, just gives that little bit more attention to, yeah. But just play me your beginning again, because you are right that the first note should be a bit more. It's not wrong. It's about how you do the notes that are quieter. It's funny for me, it still does a bit. Is that, what do you feel, Jenny?
It's absolutely brilliant, Patrick, what you're doing, because yes, we, particularly with the children, we do really emphasise, the long note, the high note, the first beat of the bar, and then on the G, and then the E will be less, and the C will be, we go through it all in our minds, but you're taking us to another level, so that is basically right, but you're sort of bringing it up to, now we've got to turn it into a piece of music. So please continue.
Oh, okay, fine. Because again, I completely agree. I mean, everybody would agree with you. Every treatise, okay, it's a long note in the first note
but you take it somewhere
of the phrase,
else.
and I suppose it don't stop being alive after the first note.
Yeah.
You see, a note. If I caricature, it's not here. Okay, you missed anyway, but yeah. Yes. Yeah, and I mean, repeated notes are interesting, I find, in music. They have almost sort of a fun element to them, always. It's like when you... this sort of thing. There is a humorous aspect to repeated note. So if you just play that, again, it's correct, but it lacks a little bit of life. Just a bit more presence and character, without changing anything in the depth of what you're doing. So there is something that you do very well is pump, 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 pump. They are not exactly the same. I like that. It's difficult to teach that. A lot of them will pump, 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 beep, 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 beep. Is that by the gesture?
Yeah.
Right.
The finger.
How do you do it? So
Also the
and the wrist.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I like that very much. Okay. Let's come to the second subject. So second page. Well played. I find your finger work a little bit passive. It's kind of, you're on the level of sort of just enough to make it work. There is a slight sort of hold of the, like it doesn't have a super clarity. I mean, not that you don't want it staccato, but you don't want your legato to become cluttered, if you want. Not, you see, not something like that. I suppose you have to, to really listen to make sure that that you really have that degree of clarity. And again, I don't know how you are taught, and I sort of, the more clarity you want, the more you have to make sure that your finger actually lifts. It's not enough to let the key push your finger up. I mean, it can be enough up to a point, but if you really want clarity, then you need to actually have a bit more energy in your hands. Because it's enough in that piece. I'm wondering how it would cope with more sort of bigger, broader, more faster, more difficult repertoire. Because it's a playing that runs on a sort of low energy. It's like, yeah, you go up to third gear if you want. But yes, I'd like to see what more you have in your motor. But play me that second page again. Do you see? I hear that a bit. Not as much as that, but listen. Yes. Yeah, again. Now, there is thing that is, a thing that is always difficult is to release your fourth finger when you have played the third, going down the scale. That's always a problem. I don't know if you found that. For me, like almost all my students,
there's only one muscle, isn't there?
Because
Between fingers 4 and
so
3.
it's like naturally, it's not going to happen. You'll have to really want it. Otherwise, what's going to happen is that, and then you release both at the same time. And that's a sound that you hear a lot of the time. So actually releasing each finger in turn, not having, yeah, at this speed it works. Yeah. Yeah. That one, the second one was a tiny little bit less good. The first one was perfect. Yeah. Carry on. And let's show me the scale. No, the next scale. Yeah, that's actually better than when you did it the first time. It has a bit more of that. Yeah, I suppose, yes. Well, play me your second page then. Yeah. When the fourth finger is on the black key, because it has even more work to do yeah. Yeah, for example, you see? Yeah. Jenny, do you have an opinion on trill starting with the upper note, top note, lower note, main note?
I like what Lili is doing on this one, but do you have an alternative view?
Well, the classic sort of treaty rule is that generally trill start with the upper note until actually quite late in music, really. So I mean, that would be what you read in treaties of the time, as far as I've read.
On the other hand, because it's approached from the note below, it's nice to be smooth. It's approached from the G, A, B, ba, 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 ba.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine, and I'm not pedantic about those things, really. The exception normally is when you're approached by the note up, yes, in which case you always start on the main note.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when you... it's almost like an arpeggiature, really. But, yeah, and I mean, it's complicated because different people had different views on this, even at the time. But the broad consensus was upper note, unless there is a good reason, or unless it's specified by a particular notation, as in Chopin. I mean, Chopin is very clear about his trills, actually. They are all from the upper note, unless if he writes that little thing before, and a lot of people, you see people doing, which is daft because that's not what it meant. Or sometimes he writes, and again, it's not meant that, it just meant, okay, that one starts with the main note. But again, I mean, it's an ornament, it doesn't, there is more than one way of doing it, and I don't really mind. But yes.
Patrick, you have 2 minutes.
Ah, right, okay. Well, it's fine because then we come to the... Yes, okay, and of course it's written fortissimo in here. Yeah, how do we do it in fortissimo in a work of the classical period? I mean, basically all dynamics are sort of toned down because the instrument didn't have the same power at all. But play me that beginning of the second page and let me see. What I would say is basically you play very well. I suppose you can, in time, get to the level where you're not just playing, but you are sort of living it through. It feels that you are applying a set of rules, which you are applying extremely well. Well, you can digest those rules, make them yours, and be free from them in some ways, and even perhaps break the rule one day, but just make music your own, and yeah. But I mean, yeah, if you're a student of mine and playing like that, I would say very many congratulations, it's beautifully done.
Thank you.
Yes, okay.
Thank you,
So,
Patrick.
okay,
Great.
Morning, this clock, we have 2 minutes left, but I don't mind that.
That clock's a minute fast.
Okay.
Sorry, just to distract people. Patrick, this is great. I mean, we have our Suzuki ways of doing things, yes, thinking about things, but it's just great you're taking this all to another level. So thank you ever so much.
I'm impressed because, I mean, not many people are, open to new ways of doing it.
Oh yes, we want new ideas. So this is Anna.
Hello,
and
Anna.
she's
Yes, very good to meet you.
Page 18.
Okay. Yes, it's very good. Yes. In case this is played beautifully, is there anything else you want to play me? Or?
Well, I have a Turkish royal.
Oh yes, okay. Well, we might, we may or may not hear.
Sorry,
that.
remind us what you're doing. The Chopin, the Grieg Nocturne.
Right, Grieg Nocturne. Which book is it? 6. 18.
Thank you.
Okay. Have you played this morning at all? No?
It's just like
Okay, fine. Question, have you heard recordings of Grieg playing his music? Oh, okay. It's actually easy to do. He recorded quite a few now of his works, and obviously these days on YouTube it's easy to. it's an interesting window into a sort of a pianism that in some ways no longer quite exists. But the fact is he was really an excellent pianist and he really had a way of playing his music. And it teaches you quite a lot about something I wanted to talk about, which is the freedom. His playing is incredibly free rhythmically. I mean, it's reflected by all the people that recorded at that time period, if you want. They all had that in common. They played with immense freedom. And what you do is very good. For me, it's a little bit too strict. And I mean, it's atmospheric. I wonder if your andante is not a little slow. Because there are some moments where it's very, very difficult to phrase. I mean, when you're ti ta ti ta ti ta ti ta ti ta ti ta, you always have to ask yourself, like, would I want to sing it like this? If you were absolutely playing this piece, just the accompaniment, but the soprano was doing the melody, which is perfectly possible. Would that be her tempo? Probably not. If you imagine, I mean, and there is something in this sort of style, when you have a succession like that of quavers, which are duplets in this setting, it's never going to be even. It's just impossible. I mean, it would be anathema for someone of that period to do ta ti ta ti ta ti. It's impossible. It just doesn't happen. Freedom was essential part of it. It's like this music rests on that. So it would be worse, as I've got one or two point of details to, but it would be worse for the broad outlook, trying something slightly faster, and certainly if you want more fluid, so where it can be at your speed, it can be faster, it can be slower. Those sort of line, if you want. Just try to find movements in space. Do something, I mean, even if it's not good, if you want. Do you see what I mean? And there is something that you did very well that you didn't do, I think, so well the first time. Okay, points of details. I think it's worth holding the E to the full value. The first one, so that you make sure that it's still there when you change your pedal on the dip. You dropped it, yeah. The second one, that we still hear it, yeah. Because you basically you do a rest. Yeah. Now, the difficult problem of the arpeggiator, because of his And again, you have to understand, I mean, he's writing something that theoretically he wouldn't need it to write, really. Again, people at that time were very much used to not playing their chord together, not playing two voices aligned, or arpeggiating chords. And most of the time they didn't write it. It was just done by tradition, instinct. You can read about it, but here he's actually writing it, and in some ways it's not so helpful because it makes you do something that is against music.
Yeah.
It makes you, and you didn't do it the second time. It makes you do your arpeggiature too early.
Yeah, I noticed first.
Yeah, and basically it's like a golden rule: an arpeggiature always comes late, never early. And the more expressive you want it, the later you have it. So here it's complicated by the fact that it's before the beat. It doesn't matter. You still have to delay it, as you did, sister. And basically, they use this kind of technique for polyphonic clarity. By not playing the two voices exactly at the same time, it would be clear, sort of, the fact that they were two separate voices. You would hear them a little bit better. They do that all the time, all the pianists from this period, and he's no exception. So that's the only reason, if you want, but it mustn't come before its time, and its time is actually a little bit later than normal. You are not playing the A flat here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I should.
Well, you are just not playing it at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a chromatic line. Yeah, in fact, exactly the same chromatic line that you have at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it certainly should be there. That's right. So where you need the most movement really is in those ta-ti, in those quavers. That's where you really can't be straight.
Yes.
So why don't you play me this first page once more, keeping those three or things in mind, and then carry on to the second page, which really was very good. Yeah, but can we do the opposite? Not ti ta, but ti. Yes. Yes. No, yeah, okay. Yeah, but give the A as well. Yeah. It's also an arpeggiator. No, A flat. Yeah. Correct. Yes. Yeah. Play as you would sing it. Yeah. That's right. Follow that phrase through. You see, you have a little segment of 2 bars, but then you have a 4 bar. So don't treat that as an arrival
Yeah.
by sort of spreading it over. It's still going somewhere. It's 2 sections otherwise. But yes, very good. Yes. Well, do the nightingale. Yeah. Very nice. too loud. You know, I'm pretty sure that he actually recorded that piece. Grieg. Would be worth a listen.
Yeah.
Because I have in mind something that he actually plays this really quite fast. And maybe it's a false memory, but I saw that. Because when it's very static harmonically, Grieg moves forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like it's an effect. And I know the problem. Of course, there's always the option of trying to put a thumb on the C, but it's quite a movement. It's probably, you see, yes. I would, if I was playing it, I would try that. Thumb 5, yeah. But it's quite a lot for the thumb. So you displace the problem in some ways. It's easier for the 3, 4, 5, but it's harder for the thumb. I'm not sure it's worth it.
Yeah.
I would have tried, but you do it, huh? It's fine. I don't think you have a problem with that, really. Yes, and of course, then Grieg being Grieg, he repeats. Is your hand too small for the chord at the end?
Actually, well, quite, but I prefer not to.
Yeah.
Like the sound.
Yeah, you find difficult to, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe like this.
I mean, my feeling is you are doing it, and your hand is perfectly capable of doing it.
But lazy.
It's just, I mean, you've got to come this way, because obviously when you're like that, it's very difficult. But if you come this way, a bit, because obviously the sound is a bit better, it's a bit richer. So when you really can't do a chord, then of course no problem.
Yeah.
But if you can do it, but like, well, yeah, no. I think you should. I think you should. But yeah, so when you have the chance to have actually the composer who was a serious pianist, not someone who could tinkle, but a serious pianist who can play his music and has played the piece you are playing, do give it a listen.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that his interpretation is the only possible one, of course, but also because it's a window in a different time and a different way of doing things, it's particularly interesting. And I mean, you would really have a slight shock. At the amount of freedom he deploys in his music, and he makes it alive in a way that many modern interpreters just can't.
Yeah.
It comes alive when he plays it. Yeah. But play me the Turkish march because we have time, and where are we?
It's here.
I see. Yeah. I mean, not that I don't know it, but yeah. Yeah. Don't worry. Okay, well, very good, very good. Actually, it's very interesting because I'm going to say similar comments I did about the left hand, which, especially in a Turkish march, carries sort of more of the. Okay, I think you should have fun with the piece. It's played with great seriousness, but it's not meant to be serious.
Yeah.
It's meant to be fun.
I got
Almost
inspired what you said for
So-
Lili.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
have a lot of
Okay.
yes.
But you know, there is a basic rhythm of the Turkish march: down, p, pom, 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 which is what defines the Turkish march, if you want. Which, even at the beginning, I suppose, can be really emphasized a little bit. And again, it's not so well behaved as you are making it sound. Yeah, it's a very amusing piece, and it's written in that spirit. Yeah, it's sometimes I think a mistake to play Mozart if it was, you know, all that decorative and because it's very well played, but again, it can have a little more sort of spirit to it. You see? When you want to give it a bit of spirit, play me a beginning. And it's a march, so it's not. And again, you are very good at giving that, but after that you disappear. You don't. I mean, you have reached a forte. So therefore, you can make a contrast between masculine and sort of edged but piano. You see, you can make a real contrast between the two segments of the phrase. Yeah, and you see, you finish so nicely. You round everything off. It's not, you know, you have masculine and feminine ending in music. That's a masculine ending. Chim pa pa pi pow. Yeah, it has an accent. It's not ti ta ta ti ta. Yeah. So that, but let's carry on because we don't have much time, and I'd like, yeah. Why do you hold back? Because marches don't allow much flexibility. Everybody has to march together. To sort of hide the left hand as if you were a little bit embarrassed by the fact that it is so plain, like yeah, bum 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 bum. Yeah, Mozart was actually not a sort of well sort of regulated individual at all, like not in any way, and his music is sort of perfect. It's incredibly sort of, but it also has that element of the naughty child who is a little bit. So I don't think we should try to hide it really at all. And yeah, if I want to really resume, try not to systematically soften the end of your phrases, which is a typical sort of good behavior. Like no, stay forte. And then you make a contrast, but don't prepare your piano by making that. All the endings are quite blunt. And then very straight, and again, just a bit more sort of, not loud, but just precise and clear. Can you just play me? We have, yeah. Yeah, and again, don't stay. Follow it really through. That's good. Yeah, I mean you see what I mean. I can see. Yeah, it's just go with the phrase through all the little sort of nooks and crannies of it. Yeah, okay. But you will play that very well. Yes, I know we must stop. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to be very good. Yeah, very good. Very pleased. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Fabulous again. It is so useful. It's just, opening our eyes to ears to all sorts of, reminding us of things and opening our ears to different things. Thank you.
Chopin Nocturne.
Right, here is MarjoHelena.
Good.
Chopin Nocturne.
It's Uttext, Uttext, I think.
Yeah, there's so many different versions.
Yeah, and this is different, and some things I don't do like it's here.
Okay, that's fine.
Because there are
I
so
think I know all the possible variations of that.
Yeah, I'm sure. So,
So
mine is mixture, obviously from the rest.
Yeah, don't worry.
Isn't it? I feel it's a little bit.
Put that down a bit.
Does it go now up?
That's going up.
Yeah, it's coming up now. Yeah. But so some of those were not just differences in edition. You
Yeah.
forgot something.
Yeah, but it was just memory.
Yeah, I realize that. Don't worry. Yeah, it's very good. I will tell you some things, but it's very good. So I don't know how you. I mean, the first bar is always slightly complicated. Yeah.
I would like to take this more, the melody
Well, show me then.
somehow
Okay,
to
play,
get
play me that first bar twice again,
Okay.
as in.
Sometimes I take
Yeah,
the
good.
note here.
Well, okay. So before worrying about the sound, let's worry about the rhythm.
Okay.
Because if I count, it's off quite a bit. Basically, like almost everybody, you shorten the rest.
Ah, okay.
You do 1, 2,
Okay.
3, yeah. And the rest are almost more important than the notes in that beginning. It's like something dropped on an ocean of silence, basically, you know.
Yes.
So it's like. That's perhaps a bit too
much.
Yeah. Yeah. 3, 4, and everybody.
I was too early.
Do you count or what?
I tried to count in the beginning, but then this last bar I didn't.
Okay.
That one.
Now, my question is, I mean, for me, it's like almost an instinct. I would put the soft pedal on the second time.
Yeah, I sometimes do it. This
Okay.
time I didn't.
Because there is no better way to change the sound you're going to do. Okay, so let's talk.
This goes still.
Yeah, but would you not want to hold it for the full value of the crotchet? 1, 2, 3.
Ah, okay. No, it was too short.
I think you've got a bit of leeway. It's not like it has to be exactly strict.
Yeah.
And also you can, if you have a super well regulated piano, which, sometimes you can play with how you release. Because it doesn't have to be like on, off.
Yeah.
It can be.
I'm trying to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And that would be the supreme success in those first bar. If really we felt like, but here the G, for example, stays longer and it spoils it. And I mean, very, very few piano are well regulated enough to allow that. It's, I mean, it needs a superb technician.
The tuning is.
I'm sorry, the tuner was here this morning.
It's amazing, yeah?
It was.
This is not my usual tuner. My usual tuner is fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let it be. Yeah.
Yeah, this is difficult because then it lasts too long if you do. So yeah, you have actually that piano is better regulated than the other one.
That's because you just worked on this piano.
But therefore you have to start the release process much earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but you understand. I don't spend half an hour.
I understand it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good about the rhythm because I had no thought about it. Just playing, da da.
Yeah, no, the rhythm is important in here. Okay, I like really a lot of what you're doing very much. There is something that was quite striking at the beginning is every time you hit a note of the melody, you delay your left hand a little bit.
Oh, how do I do it?
Like something like that.
Okay.
And
I shouldn't do it.
well, it makes a very nice note and another very nice note and another very nice note.
But
It kills the phrasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall I try?
Well.
Is it better now?
Yes, carry on a bit. Yeah, okay, it is better. Yeah. Very good. Let's look at a few other things then. Your trills. You've got excellent trills in terms of speed and lightness. I think even better would be if you could modulate the speed. It feels like you are not in control of how fast they are playing. Yes, that you enter them a bit gently and then speed up as you go. So, especially the longer one, like you see, you can and slow down a bit at the end. Yeah, because you've got excellent trills, so you can do it.
Yeah. What about you said about Chopin that it's from upwards, but when it starts, I do it from.
Well, look,
How do you?
yeah, but here again, following the rules of the classical period, he wouldn't have to write that it's on the notes. Sorry, because you have the notes.
Yeah, it comes.
It comes from the note above, yes.
Yeah, I thought
But
so.
if you see that,
I don't
Yeah.
know if I did that. I did obviously.
yeah. Now a lot of people seeing that will do,
Ah.
which is completely, yeah, it's absolutely not what Chopin intended. Because he assumes that the notes start with the upper notes.
Yes, yes, yes.
If you wrote
I
those
think
two
I've
notes,
done
yeah.
it like
Yeah, you've done it fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
And also here, I take it from
and again,
because it comes from
Yeah.
an accent.
no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Now-
wanted to ask because I wasn't sure.
Your sound will have a more crystalline quality if you really take care that every time you have a note of the melody, your bass note is not as loud.
This is
Yeah.
very loud. That's
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
wonderful sound. Oh, sorry. This one. Here.
Yeah. Generally,
Sorry, no,
yeah.
I just got lost.
Generally, you can refine the quality of the sound by never letting your accompaniment rise above.
Above, yeah.
So you listen to the yeah, and if you really can hear all the way through. Carry on. It was very nice. If I'm sort of really nitpicking, I found that phrase a little bit better, lacking in imagination. Like,
Yeah.
it was a bit. I don't know exactly. I suppose triplets again. You have to be careful not to do.
Yeah, yeah.
You see it. It's a little bit ta-ti-ta-ta. Give it a movement. And also, why do you change the pedal between the two? Because by changing the pedal here,
Yeah, it's the same chord.
yeah. try to, yeah, exactly. Try not to be ta ti ta ta. Whatever, yeah. Ti, ta, ta, yeah, but you can be more expressive on the sequence. So yeah. Yeah, but then go.
No,
Do you see?
yeah.
That's the way, yeah. Yeah. We don't always have to slow down because it's the end of a phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, well, I'm sure you know.
And trying to do something new,
Yeah.
then you slow down.
Yeah, you can actually. Yeah. Carry on a bit. Okay, there is something about your trill is they tend to have a very similar sound level, all of them, and it's not always the sound level of your phrase in general.
Yeah.
So ti ta ta. Well, why?
Do you mean it to be more?
It should be the sound level of the phrase you had before. So.
Okay.
And then diminish it if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you see, you do da. Yeah, and now diminish if you
Yeah.
want. Because I really think your trills could be exceptionally good.
I have to take one
Yes.
so I can.
Why do you give an accent on that C?
It comes.
Yeah, it comes a bit too much. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you see, your trills can have more variety.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Can you take wherever? I'd like to see the end of the page.
Do I take
Yeah. Yes.
straight from
Yeah.
there?
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, there are wrong
Yeah. Yeah. I would myself make a meal of the A.
Do you take pedal off with that?
I
Or-
do. I breathe. Yeah, but by taking pedal off, I make sure that I hold that.
Ah,
You said.
yeah.
Then
Yeah.
it's like a singer taking praise. Yeah. So I do that. So you see,
Yeah, this.
because you can't not have the bass. That's not syncable.
Yeah. I'll try once.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have to practice.
Yeah, sure. But that's what I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we very often forget to breathe when we play Chopin. We play an absolutely continuous sort of line of sound.
Yeah.
And it's something that no singer would ever be able to do or want to do.
Yeah.
The phrases need to breathe. And he actually insisted on it himself. And he probably didn't put anywhere near as much pedal as we do. Play me your second page.
Mm?
So I'm interested. You have two slightly different tempi.
Yeah.
You do da ti da 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 ti ti da.
And then I've got this is going for don't know.
Yes, okay.
You
Yeah.
wouldn't do it.
No, I've not heard it like that. I don't know. It's not. It doesn't offend me in any way.
It's my idea.
Yeah.
I
Well.
haven't heard anyone else doing it either.
fine.
But I don't know.
No, I
If you
think,
say I can do it in a different way.
no. I'm glad you have an idea. No, what I mean is, you might change it later on, but
I think every time I
I
play,
think
if
if-
something changes.
if you feel strongly enough about it to want to do it, I think you
Yeah.
should, if you
Okay.
want.
I was just wondering,
Yeah.
there is it three pianists, pianissimo,
Yeah.
and very quiet. Should I use una cotta here, or what do you think when it starts?
I do, because sort of in my storytelling of the piece, this is kind of a dream almost.
Yes,
Do you
yes.
see what I mean? It's like memories of something. You know, of course, that like 90% of the material of that piece is taken from the second piano concerto.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, all this page basically, there's not a single note of that page that doesn't come from there.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's obviously a memory in some sense.
Yes.
Uh,
Is this done obviously later than second piano?
Well,
concerto?
obviously, yes. Yeah. But so you can play it in a fairly sort of
Dreamlike.
yeah, not too tangible.
Yeah. Sorry.
I know the sound. Relax. I would do sort of a wake up here.
More than I did.
Just a little
Is it like this or?
bit. Not too much with the bass because it's already.
Yeah, okay. And then it's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know, this place in some editions it's and here
Yeah.
it's I don't know which way to do.
I
but
sing the second one because if you really.
which one?
No,
Like
I think not. Because-
long note.
Well, the left hand of the mazurka,
Yeah, if you want to.
here, okay, starts actually from here. You see, everybody does. But actually, it's
yeah,
not.
it starts from. So you mean it starts from?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really does.
And
No.
I do this longer,
Yeah,
like counting two in it.
yeah. Basically, you can reproduce pretty much this rhythm. Da-di-di-di-pam-pam. That's why people have this instinct of making it already in a 3/4,
Oh, yeah.
because effectively it is.
Yeah.
Da-di-di-di-di-yam,
Some
ba-di-di-dum.
editions it's written
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
two beats.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Now I can't take from the. Do
Yeah.
you take these right hand things?
I take yes, I play them as sort of trade-off of.
Yeah, because
I
many
remember.
pianists leave
I
them
know,
out.
yes, but I would play them. I mean, it's not a piece I play,
Yeah.
but yeah. My feeling is, and again referring to what it is, which is a section in the second.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, you're not doing it. So why do you do separate a bit?
Like this or
Yeah, well, it's
Something. do you yeah,
No, that's your.
okay.
I think the essential thing is to let it breathe after the crotchet. That's the one.
This
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
really staccato or how do you play?
Well, as long as it detached, you are kind of okay. Yes. Yeah, I would put pedal on those a little bit. Yeah. I mean, because here it's very dry acoustically.
No.
Yeah, it's more difficult here because
Yeah.
there's no resonance at all. If you play in a church, it
Yeah,
cuts and it's
yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Here it feels like, oh,
Yeah.
and so yeah, you have to take the thing. Here you have to put a tiny bit of resonance pedal. But yeah,
Do you keep it and then? Or
I'm not
show
sure.
me once.
I'm not opposed to detaching that. But I mean, it's, yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, good.
It-
This
it-
is a
I
very
think-
good idea.
Basically, try to contrast it in every
In-
possible
yeah,
way
yeah, yeah.
with the rest of the piece, if you want.
Yes,
Well, what is there that we can see? Oh, you are of course going to play me your last scales once more. Can you? Well, why don't you play me that?
I can make it sound like I would like.
Yes. Very often you play exactly the same sound on two descending
Yes.
notes. A tempo.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
with C sharp.
So for example, I would go more. Yeah, yeah. Be very careful of not doing twice the same sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, perfect. Yes, nice. And again, the reason he wrote that little phrasing is to tell you exactly that the G should be less than the A. That's the only meaning it has. Yet. It's a help for you to phrase it and not do da 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 da
Yes,
G.
yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I understand this. Sorry.
Doesn't matter.
Wait, what did I do now?
No, it's a B.
Oh, yeah, I see it wrong. Yeah.
No?
No, I did
Yeah,
it wrong.
now you know. Exactly. Diminish. And now do this. That's a vocal effect. Yeah, do release a crescendo, decrescendo. Speeding up as you crescendo. Carry on. Yeah. So that one is actually a very straightforward arpeggiature between the A. So you need to mark and then play the G less. Yeah, you would be. It doesn't really have to be so terribly fast. It's a mistake, I think, to think, okay, I've got to play that. It never sounds well when you try to play as fast as you.
Yeah.
I found that what works the best is if you speed up around here. So you do it. Okay, and it feels fast, but it's not. Yeah, but try to play at a speed where you can play all the notes. Yeah, and make your crescendo towards the top. Make the top sparkle a bit. Yeah. But take your time before you get there.
Doesn't succeed
Yeah,
yet, but
no, it's not so bad. Yeah, I really think you play too fast. I mean,
no.
just speed up. Yeah. I mean, it actually sounds better.
Yeah.
What matters is not that it's really, really fast. It's that we hear all the notes
All
and
the
it's
notes,
beautifully crafted.
I have
If
to
you want.
practice because now I can't do it crescendo and.
Yeah, sure,
making
but
it
you've got
faster.
excellent finger. It's not going to be a problem for you.
Yeah, but doing it right.
Yeah. Okay.
It needs time.
Yeah, I know we finished, but very good. I mean, you really play very well.
Thank you so much.
No?
Of course, sir, you fed me with the food.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Well,
Very good.
Food for thought is always good.